Live. Ready? All right. Click the go live button. Checking YouTube to make sure we're live. And it looks like we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 85th ever episode of the Best Phone Plans podcast. Dennis and I have been cooking up an absolutely amazing show for you tonight. Dennis, what are some of the topics we have on deck for these mighty fine viewers joining us this evening?
So we're going to be talking about Total by Verizon, visible eSIM issues, visible acknowledging customer care, iPhone 14 additional news, and then we're also going to be doing a poll, which I'm going to get ready to put up right now for you guys to start voting on, and that will be discussed at the end of the show.
I love it. Oh, man. Tons of great topics. First, I think we got to welcome everyone into the stream and see how people are doing. We got MS, Wi-Fi Boy, Jonathan, Kyle, great to see you here. MS, Mr. Mods, Eduardo, always great seeing you, Eduardo. Ryan, oh man, TJ. Mo, Joe is asking you, Dennis, no beanie today. What is going on with that?
I feel like I haven't been really rocking beanies, honestly.
That's true.
I feel like ever since I just been shaving the old noggin, I've been very happy with how I look, and it's honestly a lot cooler inside when you don't wear a beanie. However, for anyone that makes it to the Patreon show, you're going to be in for a sick surprise when I show off some of the beanies I got.
So true, so true. All right, Dennis. First up, before we dive in, we got to start off with the age-old question. How are you doing on this fine evening?
I'm doing pretty incredible. Any day I get to do the Best Phone Plan show and talk with all the peeps out there that take the time out of their days to watch is a good day to me.
Every Thursday, great day. Love to hear it. Are you good with the poll? You want to get things kicked off here with some Total by Verizon news?
Yeah, we can definitely talk about the Total by Verizon news. I'm making the poll right now. I just it's taking me a couple extra seconds to do the copy pasting.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, I can, I guess, kind of kick things off as people are joining in from all around the United States and possibly around the globe. We are using OBS for this stream, so we got a couple of different setups here. The first one and the first big news is Total by Verizon. And we got to give a huge shout out to Joe from Best MVNO for actually not only catching this early, but actually discovering a full-on beta website in a Best MVNO exclusive. And it was site.totalbyverizon.com. Thankfully, today it is now public, so we can look at the plans ourselves. But we got to give a shout out to Best MVNO for bringing you the breaking news early and for providing an epic chart comparing all of the new cell phone plans. And thank you, L Shortcuts, for just subscribing. Hopefully I can read that from my tiny screen here. But yeah, had to give a shout out to Best MVNO. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news, there is literally no better website than this. That said, I think we should visit the actual Total by Verizon site. Verizon did a little press release. We're not going to cover that. We're just going to dive into the actual site, which is totalbyverizon.com. So, these are the new plans. Shop. Plans. And Dennis, did you get the poll up? What are people voting on right now?
Yeah, so the poll is live. The question for everyone that's listening is, which of the following adds the most value to your wireless plan? And the choices are more priority data, free streaming, more mobile hotspot data, or free international travel. Right now, priority data is winning at 62%. But
make sure you cast your vote.
On a side note, Stetson, I messaged you something on Discord because I just realized two things that we didn't account for that we'll have to revise for next stream.
That is okay. We're trying our best here. I'm not 100% sure if I can check Discord because that is what you are broadcasting on. So if I move it, then you will move.
So that's okay. I'll just say it out loud. One, I can't share screens with this setup because it's just this one window you're capturing. And two, I can't see the screen that you're sharing with this setup, so I have to watch the YouTube video, which is 20
Dennis,
seconds behind.
we made the live stream better for the audience and worse for Dennis.
That's what I was gonna type, but we could fix. Hey, work in progress.
Trial by fire. All right, Dennis. Well, you can go to the Total by Verizon plan site, just totalbyverizon.com. We got ourselves 4 different options here. And oh man, we got some spicy takes for you. So we got a $30 plan coming at you with 5 gigs of data, $40 plan with 15 gigs of data, a $50 plan with unlimited data and 10 gigs of hotspot, and a $60 plan with unlimited data and 20 gigabytes of hotspot data. Now, a couple of things here. The reason we're asking about what adds value to your cell phone bill is these new plans are coming with perks. You get a 6-month free trial Disney Plus with the $50 plan, and you get Disney Plus included for free with the $60 plan. So a couple of things to consider there. $60 plan comes with 5G ultra wideband access, which is important to note. You're also getting unlimited texting to 69 countries. Nice. And all of these are no contract plans. Dennis, immediate gut reactions here?
The plans are pretty garbage, to be honest.
Yep, that's the TLDR. So what is Verizon doing? Well, they've basically taken their Verizon prepaid plans, and we should pull those up. Verizon prepaid, just so you can compare, and they're basically the same thing. So, oh, what's that? All right, we got to stop this auto slider nonsense. Wait, I said stop the nonsense. 5 gigs for $35, 15 gigs for $45, unlimited 60, unlimited 70. If you get the auto pay discount, you're looking at 5 gigs for 30, 15 for 40, unlimited for 55, unlimited for 65. These are extremely close in price, and if you just kind of fudge around with their loyalty discount, you'll see they're pretty much the same. The features are almost identical. A couple things to note: unlimited Verizon prepaid does not come with hotspot. It's $5 extra for 10 gigs of hotspot data, which is, in my opinion, a little stupid. And the $65 plan comes with just 10 gigs of hotspot data. So technically, the Total by Verizon plans are a little bit better. Instead of getting the customer loyalty discount, which I think is ridiculous because it literally takes you 4 to 9 months, 10 months to get the maximum savings. That's insane. Total by Verizon is introducing a multi-line discount, which I think makes way more sense. That said, the multi-line discount isn't very competitive or very great. And Dennis, I think you kind of summarized it. Total by Verizon, it kind of sucks. You should just go with US Mobile all day, every day.
Or visible.
Or visible. Yeah,
Which leads on to our next topic.
It will lead on to the next topic. All right, US Mobile, just for comparison, their unlimited plans are fantastic. Literally $35 and $45, which is cheaper, and the plans are better, and lighter data usage plan. I mean, look, 5 gigs, $15. Single line, 5 gigs, $30. It's literally twice as expensive. Yeah, so Total by Verizon, it's not worth it. The one benefit is you can sign up in stores. These are going to be in Walmart, things like that. But that's pretty much it. Just go with US Mobile, go visible. I mean, look, Visible's plan, $30, 5 gigs on Total by Verizon, $30 unlimited data from Visible. So
that's not Visible's website, is it?
No. This is still the Total by Verizon. If we do Visible, I mean, we can give them a shout here. Plans, look, $30 unlimited data. I mean, it's just taxes and fees included. Like, these are outstanding. You get more features at better prices. It's phenomenal. Or is it phenomenal?
All right, Stetson, let's move on. Oh, are you going to show the visible plan?
That was the visible plan.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see it.
It's all
I'm
good.
behind.
I know, you're like delayed. What a disaster.
Sorry. Anyway, let's move on. Next topic. Visible's having eSIM issues, Stetson.
eSIM issues. I'll actually pull up so first, 2 articles here. One is from Fierce Wireless about Visible acknowledging their customer service problems. What could have caused this? Well, The Verge had a great article about some issues customers were having. So first, customers had issues. They were missing calls, texts, and data after upgrades. So this is when Visible launched their new plans, Visible and Visible Plus. Mitchell Clark from The Verge, actually a Visible customer himself, so shout out to Mitchell Clark, made an article talking about, people who are experiencing issues on Reddit. And some said it was smooth sailing, others horrible so far, early adopter pain. And several people say they've spent hours talking or waiting on Visible support staff, sometimes to no avail. Some people were without service for 24 to 48 hours. Others were without service for as long as a week, I saw. And it was just kind of a disaster. Dennis, have you tried Visible yourself at this point?
I mean, I've tried Visible before, but not since post changes to the routing of the traffic and everything like that to the normal Verizon core.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, let's see. I just wanted to throw up the Reddit page so we can get a glimpse here. Yeah. So there's a Reddit post, and it just kind of outlines different experiences from different people. I kind of highlighted some of these in my video, like 22 hours without service after swapping to a new plan. Like, that's not good. eSIM activation failed. 48 hours later, support said the problem had been fixed, but the iPhone had not been activated. I contacted support again. They refused to let me talk to a human. I switched to Mint Mobile. So I think that was a strong move. And Mint Mobile was able to get me running and port my number from Visible in less than 15 minutes. Yeah, so basically people were having problems with Visible. They launched new plans. There were issues with the service. And what do people do when there's an activation issue? Like, Dennis, what would you do if you had an activation issue?
I'd probably Google search the error if there is one, and then if there is no error or any information, I would reach out to support.
Yeah, basically, like, the activation is one of those parts of the processes where you have to reach out to support if something goes wrong. Like, it can be challenging to troubleshoot, especially if you don't have service on your phone, and things like that. Anyway, so they had issues, and there were issues not only with eSIM activations, but that overwhelmed Visible customer service and support. So then Visible is acknowledging some of their problems here. This comes from Fierce Wireless. And they're kind of highlighting some of the issues that people have been talking about. Since the launch of the new Visible and Visible Plus plans, a network transition to the native Verizon network core, users have been encountering massive issues, including no service for 7+ days, SIM and eSIM provisioning issues, such as the wrong plan, partial service problems, such as no incoming calls or texts. It was assumed that these issues would start to subside as weeks go by, but it seems the problems are only becoming more rampant. So, kind of not a good situation to be in for Visible. Dennis, do you think any of this is underlying on Verizon's side, like Verizon's having issues with their background eSIM stuff, or is this more on Visible?
I think it's a triple whammy effect. One is I do think Verizon's at fault here to a pretty high extent, because we know for a fact that it's not just Visible that's been having eSIM activation issues. It's basically all Verizon MVNOs. Even Verizon postpaid has issues sometimes, right, with certain devices on the Android side. So I think it's partially to blame with Verizon, because we know Xfinity Mobile was having issues reported on Reddit. Spectrum was the same. I think US Mobile was having some issues too here and there. So it's not just Visible's fault on that part. But the second part of that whammy is I do think it's also in part due to phone manufacturers not doing a great job working with carriers to follow whatever the carriers establish as, like, this is going to be the way to do things, so to speak, and make sure everything is like compliant, and like their IMEIs are getting whitelisted when devices come out, so everything like gets recognized. Because Stetson, you know that if you put in the wrong IMEI, for example, whenever you're going through an eSIM activation, it can trip up the system, and it could be something real simple like that, right? Your average consumer isn't going to necessarily realize, like, oh, I have to put IMEI 2 in for this to work proper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I think it is kind of a trifecta of scenarios coming together here, and ultimately, I think what uh, kind of was it was like a snowball effect where you had Verizon having some issues with eSIM, Visible prompting a lot of customers to swap to eSIM or upgrade to the new plans, and then those issues then compounding to, hey, what do we do? You have to contact support, and support maybe doesn't have the solution. Maybe this requires more of a technical fix, and then you just have people having issues with their service. So
This is what Visible should have done, in my opinion.
yeah, what should they have done,
It,
Dennis? Hit us.
in preparation for this like mass migration to eSIM, they should have made a dedicated like front of page on the support website on the app. Like literally, you can't miss it. Of hey, this is what you do to activate via eSIM. If you encounter an error, please fill out X. So instead of calling, it's an automated like. I know people hate the word ticket, but that's really all you're gonna do when you call them anyway. So here's the automated ticket. Have it so that it pulls some like API call, so it pulls information off the device reporting the problems, or maybe it allows you to attach a screenshot of what the issue is and then submit it, and then allow the user to have a real-time tracking so they're not wasting their time on hold or on the phone. And then you apologize and you just let them know like, hey, we kind of knew this was an issue. This is what's being worked on in these circumstances. This is the expected resolution time from ticket creation. You do
Yeah.
something like that, because there's nothing more infuriating than having repeatedly having to call in, listen to hold music, and then when you talk to the next rep, them having no clue about the previous conversation that you had. You know what I mean?
100%. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Dennis, where the biggest complaint was actually the lack of response from customer service. And it sounds like your solution is just attacking this problem head on. Like you give people a ticket, you say, "Hey, you're in a queue, we will get to you. Here's the estimated wait time." You get to that person and you provide them with the resolution. And I think in scenarios where service isn't working or there's been any kind of interruption, I think Visible probably should have compensated those individuals with like a free month. Like, hey, here's a free month of service. Sorry for this rough transition to these new plans. Um, like, our bad. Things should be better in the future. And I think that's kind of what Visible needs is like time to fix this.
Also, one other thing that would have been really helpful is having a fail switch. So if error gets encountered, give customer option to go back to physical SIM that was working appropriately, or
Yeah. And I think
something like that.
Visible might be in a kind of unique situation here where they're actually trying to swap network cores. But I mean, they were doing activations on the old core before, so I'm 100% with you, Dennis. Like, they should have been able to, ship out a SIM on the old core and get that working. I mean, people just need service, right? So Jeremy Bolton from Visible did respond to Fierce Wireless here, and like the plans are awesome, but yeah, they had provisioning issues and they need to fix it. Dennis, how long do you think something like this would take to fix?
Like to fix properly or to address the current issue?
Let's say to address the current issue and then to fix properly.
Current issue to get things sort of settled down, maybe 10 days,
Yeah.
10 business days, so 2
Yeah.
weeks.
2 weeks. I think
Uh,
that's fair.
Um, I'm making the assumption that Visible has more resources than I'm hoping they have as much resources as I think they do. But as far as fixing this appropriately, actually staffing up customer care and really implementing a lot, like basically creating a new customer care department so that it's like overhauled, that's going to be like a year, maybe 2 years endeavor. And
Yeah.
it's going to require from the top rethinking the whole customer care strategy to begin with, because with companies like Visible, right? They don't have infinite resources like a Verizon or a Comcast or whomever. They have to be very lean and mean. And I think one of the things that we as consumers have to accept, and Visible just has to accept as well, is they're never going to be able to have enough butts and seats, trained butts and seats to real time answer all these customer service requests whenever issues like this crop up. So they need to have mechanisms in place to efficiently and 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 efficiently and make consumers aware of like what's going on, and making it kind of like asynchronous, like the ticketing system that I mentioned before is like a simple method of doing it. Maybe it's a sophisticated chat bot, whatever. They just need to think of ways to reduce the need of people to deal with the more painful experience of calling in and listening to that whole music and repeatedly having to do that over and over again just to check up on something.
Yep, 100%. And yeah, I think that's probably one of my biggest issues with reaching out to even the major carriers with the on website chat experiences. Like, go to the Verizon website, you get that little chat pop up, you type, hey, I'm having this issue. If at any point you're disconnected from that session, you don't respond fast enough, boom, chat's over. You basically have to start over at square one with a new rep. Like, none of that is saved. One thing
Stetson, I want to.
yeah.
I was gonna say I wanted to answer a comment.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to highlight. So if you're able to, that'd be great. If not, I understand.
So we currently can't highlight any comments right now. Let me finish this point, and then Dennis, let's respond to these comments because I see a lot of great ones coming in. Yeah, my point. I like Twitter because it's asynchronous, and I think that's the biggest thing. I can message on Twitter. That message stays there. The rep can respond when they have time. I can respond when I have time, and I think there's nothing worse than having your service break and then also having to waste time on hold trying to get in contact with customer service. Like, they should have the queue system be like, schedule a callback. Apple lets you schedule callbacks, or do just like an asynchronous setup for a majority of customers so that you can get the issue resolved and you're not wasting time. It's like, whenever you have time, you can message. When the rep has time, they can message. And yeah, you don't have to like re-verify or re-authenticate once you've started that process. All right, that was my spiel. Dennis, it sounds like you've got some great comments picked out. Let's respond to what people are saying in the live chat right now.
Yeah, so Dave Muscalera had said Visible's owned by Verizon. They should have the resources for this. No excuses. Well, Dave, I wish it was that easy. Typically these subsidiary companies, especially ones that aren't direct flanker brands like a Cricket would be, don't get the level of resources you would think they would from their parent company. Visible, for all intents and purposes, is probably running on like 1/100th of the budget that Verizon has for their normal teams. Oh, this is a good way to kind of do this. And wow, those are coming in quick.
Yeah. It's a little bit delayed. It'll catch up.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's excusable. And everyone should know here, I typically don't recommend Visible for the reason that they don't have good customer service. It's really abysmal. But I'm giving them a slight bit of mercy and leeway here. This is more of like this is just an issue that broke the camel's back, but it was an ongoing issue that just been ignored too long.
Yeah,
so now they
I
have
think
to take action.
It was the underlying customer service was, honestly, it was always kind of medium on Visible, and I think the issues with the migration are really, as you said, Dennis, like broke the straw on the camel's back. Like, it just highlighted the flaws in the customer service, or the room for improvement, shall we say. And yeah, I think the first plan of attack I would do is fix the activation issues, because that will immediately reduce the volume on customer service and support, and then long term fix that. A couple people I wanted to touch on. We had Baby Yoda Tech saying they switched from Xfinity Mobile to Visible Plus, had issues, and ended up switching back to Xfinity Mobile. And they're saying Xfinity Mobile is just a better MVNO on the Verizon network. And we get a head shake from Dennis. Yeah, Invisible's actually... I think Xfinity Mobile, is actually known for having pretty good customer service, which is weird, right? Like, they're owned by Comcast, and Comcast is notoriously bad, but Xfinity Mobile is great. Sharkbait saying they dropped the Visible plan and went to the 100 gigabyte US Mobile Unlimited Premium plan. That's a fantastic option. And on the other side of things, Borgranta 61103 said Visible eSIM 15-day trial with a new number worked fine for me. So it's a mixed experience, but bottom line here is there's room for Visible to improve, and we want them to improve because at the core, the plans are fantastic. They just need to work on customer service and the activation issues.
In Stetson, why address one more comment? Please check your iMessage for me.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So the last comment I'm going to address on this topic real fast came in from Eduardo. He said, if you want, basically paraphrasing, if you want good customer service, you can't have it at $30 essentially. Like you can't be cheap and premium. And I'm just gonna have to actually disagree on that. There are less resource intensive ways to give good customer service. Good customer, like the status quo across most companies is that good customer service is having like live call centers where you call in and you get your experience done that way. And I would actually argue not only is that very uh, costly and inefficient, but I don't actually think it equals good customer service either. Like leveraging technology is a great way to ensure great customer service. For example, we know a lot of our information gets collected for ad purposes and other stuff like that, but what if they started collecting, say, I don't know, RSRP values? Like let's just say they were keeping an eye on your RSRP values and a customer came in and before they even get ready to get into a live chat, there's a little pop-up that says like, hey, are you experiencing slow data from like some chat robot? And the customer could be like, yes. Well, based off of what your phone is showing here, you're in a weak signal area. That's the reason why you're experiencing slow data. Please try doing X, Y, and Z and see if it's still slow. Like they could do stuff like that, like be preemptive, be upfront about it, or maybe the chatbot can recognize that they're out of priority data and they're being deprioritized at the moment, and it could just tell them, yeah, you're being deprioritized. You don't have to wait and call on the phone to talk to someone because you're being slowed down. You're on this $30 plan. That's why it's slow. Um, Different ways you could do it, different ways you could be more efficient, but I think it's about time to change gears.
Love it. All right, that was Visible. I think, look, bottom line for us, Visible, we are rooting for you. We want to see you become better. The plans are fantastic. And I think I said in my video, is Visible worth it? Like, once Visible fixes eSIM and fixes customer service and adds two-factor authentication, that's another one that I think is really important. I think they'll be probably one of my number 1 or 2 picks for best unlimited data plans on Verizon in terms of the value they deliver. I mean, like their plans are great, $30 and $45 a month, fantastic, way better than Total by Verizon. All right, Dennis, next topic. We're moving on to some iPhone 14 Pro news. This is coming from the website SpeedSmart, a speed testing website I recently discovered, and they've got a report iPhone 14 Pro up to 38% faster 5G speeds. This is in part to the Snapdragon X65 modem. Dennis, I'm curious your initial reactions to this, and while you're thinking about that, I want to ask the audience if you've noticed an improvement in 5G speeds with your iPhone 14 if you chose to get one.
So I don't have my iPhone 14 Pro Max in yet. That's not going to come until like mid-October. But I do have an S22 Ultra, which has the same modem. And I can tell you that looking at this, I'm a bit surprised because the performance increase that the next generation of modems brought was not 65 or 38% faster, I would say on average. The areas in which it was improved was more on cell edge because it had a better tendency to keep the connection on those mid-band frequencies. But performance-wise, there was very few situations where I would say it was this much faster on average.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. We're kind of missing, I feel like, some information here about, what location were these tests run in, how many tests were run to gather these results, like what's the sample size for this data. We can see at the bottom that the data was collected from September 16th to 19th. So pretty much right around when the iPhone 14 launched. I think that's literally launch day and like the weekend after. So yeah, that was launch day through the weekend, and then this was published on Monday. So it's just a couple of days of results. So I'm curious like how many data points they had. And yeah, I think what Sasha found from his testing of the Snapdragon X65 modem for PCMag was exactly as you said, Dennis. It wasn't really giving that huge bump in the high signal areas where service is already great. It was really when you're on cell edge, when you've got low service, you got 1 bar on your phone, that's really where the benefit was, and you're getting way faster speeds and performance there. So this kind of contradicts that in some sense.
One thing I will say, though, is that I'm not trying to say it can't make a difference. It's just very niche. Like, I'll just use a quick example real fast. Let's just say you live in a market where T-Mobile has gone full-on standalone and they wanted to carrier aggregate 2 channels of N41 and then N71, right? I believe on the X60 that wasn't possible, but on the X65 it is, if I'm not mistaken. And that would be a situation where I wouldn't be surprised that you're seeing the faster speeds, because now you're getting like an extra like 40 or 60 megahertz, a whole spectrum that you didn't have, right? But if
Yeah,
it's all things being equal and all carrier aggregation being equal, which is hard to check on iPhones, then I wouldn't imagine there being such a significant speed difference. I think it's just a matter of the fact that the X65 can do more carrier aggregations than the X60 can, which for Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T, that's where the difference would probably be made at. Verizon with CBRS, where they have it deployed, T-Mobile where they're doing the standalone 5G, and then AT&T because AT&T loves to carrier aggregate everything under the sun. But
exactly. I was just trying to find the PC Mag article about the speed tests.
I'm
Looking at
more
the
interested
yeah.
in the latency. I'm more interested in the fact that the latency was lower.
Oh yeah, should we? This is what the article is saying. They're saying T-Mobile latency improved by 10 milliseconds, and the Verizon latency improved by an even greater amount. It went from 52 to 37. So is that like 15 milliseconds? Um, so yeah, I'm curious to see if this were to be revised, what the data would look like. And I think it's hard to do this. Like you can't really take average speeds, I feel like, across the nation, because then you're suddenly getting like cell sites that have different performance from others. Like you basically need to go to the same cell site, run the tests, and then kind of compare the results. Like Dennis, if you were going to try and test this, you get your iPhone 14 Pro Max, comes in, we're mid-October, you're like, all right, I'm going to do some testing for the best phone friends crowd. What do you do to go out and see if the performance is actually better on your new iPhone 14 Pro Max?
It's really hard because Apple really limits you, unlike Samsung. But what I would try to do is find somewhere that's far enough outside the city that I know that I'm going to be connecting to a specific cell site that is a control that I know has like upgrade to the max, right? Like best case scenario, right? For these phones, right? And then I would control for the speed test server that I'm using. I would use multiple different applications with controlling what the server is that they're connecting to and recording that. And I would try to run at minimum. Um, I'd probably try to run at minimum 50 tests over the course of like a few days to really like let that soak in at a minimum, ideally at different times of day as well. And um and then yeah, I would be recording that, and I would probably take the average result, the best case result from both devices. So best case result, average, the mean, the middle, whatever that word is, the one that gives you just like the middle result of the total, not the average. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, something like that. I honestly, I wouldn't do this with iPhones, to be honest. Because you can't control what bands they're locking onto, and you can't really see what cell site you're locking onto with them either. Like, it just doesn't have the information or the control for you.
You're so right, Dennis. And I think that's why. So Sasha actually did. I found the article. Exclusive. Samsung's Galaxy S22 is a low signal beast, and this was powered by the X65 modem. So therefore, Apple's iPhone 14 is a low signal beast. And what Sasha found, I mean, I think the chart at the end really summarizes it beautifully, is here is with great signal strength, S22 Plus and S21 FE. You can see that the S21 FE actually got faster speeds. It was winning just about, it looks like 80% of the tests. And this was only, S22 Plus was only winning about 20% of the tests. But as the signal strength went down to negative 110 to 115, negative 115 to negative 120 to less than negative 120, S22 Plus won over 90, probably like 90, 98% of the tests. It was winning 86% of the tests, and it was winning 73% of the tests. T-Mobile, very similar story. We get almost parity performance up until about negative 110 dB of signal strength, and then as the signal strength weakens, the difference in performance of the S22 Ultra with that Snapdragon modem just like skyrockets. So there you go. And you can see the speeds here, overall download speed. And S22 Plus with that X65 was just crushing it. So I would expect to see more data like this because we know Sasha is amazing when it comes to testing phones. I mean, look at this. Look at this map. The guy was out walking all over. It was great. So shout out to Sasha for making this happen. But there you go.
Hey, but Stetson,
Dennis.
do you know what's really sad? It's the article that we got out from Digital Trends that has to do with RCS and how Apple's just outright ignoring it.
Oof. It's so true, Dennis. All right, I have the article up now. Sorry, Google. Apple is right to keep ignoring RCS for iPhone. Dennis, you want to kind of take the lead on this one? What is RCS and what's going on here?
Yeah, so RCS is a open source standard, stands for Rich Communication Service. It's an open source standard that's meant to replace SMS based messaging. So it basically allows for like read and write, allows for you to send much larger files over it. You can do end-to-end encryption in certain variants if someone implements it. It helps solve the group messaging problems that exist. It basically gives you a, let's call it iMessage Lite or Facebook Messenger-esque experience, but across carriers. It's supposed to be interoperable. Android has been adopting it, and most carriers in the US have been adopting to use Google's implementation of it. And even Samsung's kind of just getting on board and just following suit instead of kind of like developing their own protocol. They're just doing Google's version. The person that's holding out, though, unfortunately, is Apple. Apple is still using old school SMS, which has a 160 character limit. It's that nasty green bubble. It's the one that makes pictures look super ugly when you get them from Android phones because it gets compressed down to kilobytes in size, and it makes group messaging just horrible because, you know, once you're in one, you can't leave, and you got like the whole duplicate messaging issue and all kinds of other nastiness with it. But Apple doesn't care.
It's true. It's less than ideal, to say the least. That said, I think RCS isn't really having the best show either. An interesting point the author of this article brought up is only 20% of Android users have been estimated to have access to RCS. So even in the community where RCS is making a difference, roughly only 20% of people have access to this new feature. And then, Dennis, you touched on this, but it's kind of a confusing mismatch between different RCS implementations, right? So you have the Google implementation, which is what I think T-Mobile and Verizon have opted for, where everything is run through Google servers, but AT&T has done their own implementations, and it's creating kind of a broken experience for a product that was intended to fix the broken experience. And
Small correction, by the way, Verizon actually did do their own thing at first. It was T-Mobile and Sprint that did Google. But Verizon did eventually kill off their advanced messaging and do the Google one as a secondary. So they have two. There's like Messaging Advanced 1.0, and then there's RCS, which they call like Messaging Advanced 2.0 or whatever.
That is hilarious. So yeah, I mean, have you used RCS yourself? You came from a Galaxy S21 Plus before you switched to iPhone, if I remember correctly. So what was your experience as an Android user, Dennis? Like, were you using RCS, and how was it impacting you?
I was using RCS on my Galaxy S20 Plus, which was then a Galaxy S21 Ultra. But yes, I was using RCS. It was tremendous. It worked very well with my dad, who has a Pixel, and my mom that has a Samsung. Worked great. Honestly, worked. Yeah, it was really nice, and because I had Android, it forced other people that wanted to message with me, if they didn't like texting, to use third-party messaging platforms, which this article also touches on. But iMessage is pretty nice. The only thing that sucks about iMessage is that it's not available on Windows, which is the most annoying part about it. And if Apple would just do that, then I wouldn't really care. If they just made iMessage available like on all platforms, like anyone could download it, I wouldn't care. But they won't, and that sucks. RCS is great though. It should be here. It's better in every single fashion, and SMS eventually just has to die.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. The problem is almost less Apple and more SMS. Like we need to fix SMS. But yeah, unfortunately, the quote from Tim Cook. This is so funny. This was like right after the iPhone 14 came out, I believe. Quote from Tim Cook: "I don't hear our users asking that we put a lot of energy in on this, on that at this point." Tim Cook was quoted saying, "I would love to convert you to an iPhone." Like Apple basically fixed SMS, but they made their solution iPhone exclusive, proprietary. Exactly. The cons to this is it really hurts the cross-platform experience. But the pros to this is because iMessage is proprietary, they've been able to add a lot of features. With the iOS 16 update, you can now edit messages, you can undo send messages, you can delete messages. There's tons of message effects. It's a fun messaging app. And RCS.
Yeah, but you can still
yeah.
You could still do all of that and support RCS, right? Like you could still have
yeah.
iMessage and then have your fallback be RCS, which is the whole point of RCS, right? Like you can still have Facebook Messenger do its own thing and then have RCS as the fallback instead of SMS being the fallback. It's really that simple. Like,
yeah.
My God, I really hate. Look, Apple, you have a great ecosystem. We all understand you have a great ecosystem. We know you like to bully the green bubble message people, and you're happy that it sucks because most consumers don't realize that it's you that's forcing it to suck. But honest to God, I swear to you on everything holy, if the day ever comes where in the US we could just agree to use something that's universal, it's not going to be iMessage because you refuse to put it on other platforms. So Apple, either put your messaging platform on other platforms and stop being jank with these links for FaceTime video calls, or support RCS. Please and thank you, Tim Cook. You heard me. I'm an Apple user. I'm asking for it. Please, God.
Dennis, I'm kind of with you. I mean, I just want the messaging experience to be better. And my question for you, should Google have made their own iMessage? And the only reason I'm asking this is it seems like RCS is having adoption issues of its own. Should Google have made its own, just like third-party messaging service?
Google Hangouts, Google Duo, Google Messages. Which one?
Okay, maybe Google is not the company that should be responsible for making messaging apps.
Or we could go a different route. Would you like to have your WhatsApp, your Instagram Messenger, your Facebook Messenger, which are all owned by Meta?
It's true. Oh man, it is such a
Can
world.
I bring out the classic socialist Dennis who has been just hiding?
Yeah, he's
socialist
been
Dennis
in the
time.
shadows. Come on out.
Socialist
hi,
Dennis
socialist
time.
Dennis. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, comrade. No. Here's my thoughts. I think that this deserves some FCC regulation because SMS is inherently insecure and has a lot of problems. I think that the FCC should put in a mandate for a specific specification of RCS to be implemented. And even if it doesn't get touched or updated again for another 10 years, it'll still be better than what we have today with current SMS. I think that's what should happen. That seems
very reasonable to me.
Sarcasm or serious?
No. I mean, like, I think someone was saying it in the chat. Like, literally, a government needs to come in and force Apple to use RCS. Otherwise, they're not going to do it. Like, iMessage is their solution. They have solved this problem. And, until something happens, they're not going to do it. But, yeah, I think Google is, man, they messed up so many. Oh, man. I'm just, like, remembering Google Hangouts. They had Google Allo at one point. They had Allo and Duo. Yep. Allo died.
Hey, listen, I was at Penn State main campus when Google Allo came out, and they were giving out free shirts and stuff.
That's amazing. I was so excited when it came out. And there's, like, this cool idea. I mean, it had some great features, but, oh, man. What's your non-iMessage messaging app right now, Dennis? I think you've said before Facebook Messenger has been pretty good. Like, we don't love Facebook, but they make a good messaging service. So,
let's see. What's my main messaging platform? Well, I literally have two folder screens because Apple only lets you have like three in a row. I have two folder screens full of messaging apps. Which one would you like me to tell you about, Stetson? Joking aside, though, since I switched to iPhone, honestly, I've been using iMessage as my primary. I don't have to rely on the other ones because most of those people that were blue bubbles now accept me as also one of them, one of us, one
Yeah,
of
yeah.
us. But
Welcome, Dennis.
um, no, Discord's still one of my big go-tos. Snapchat for my D&D group because we have some Android users in there. So Snapchat, although I hate Snapchat so much, I hate it so much as a
That's
messaging app.
It's probably my absolute least favorite messaging app of all time because
But
all the
I do,
messages delete and I can't remember what I just said.
but I do use it because that's what they choose to use. Unfortunately, it hurts my soul.
It does hurt
My
your soul,
favorite,
yeah.
my favorite ones though, if we're just talking about which ones I like the best, are Facebook Messenger, and the reason why I like that one especially is because it doesn't actually require a phone number. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that just like iMessage, you can use an email instead and you don't have to have a phone number associated, which is awesome. I also don't mind WhatsApp, but it requires a phone number, which is what makes me kind of not like it. But I really do like WhatsApp as well. Oh, and honestly, Signal's not too bad.
All right, yeah, so I like Signal for the security. I have had issues using that on multiple devices. Like I
Oh,
think,
yes.
right? And I need that. I need that. Actually no, that's yeah, Signal's the one I've had issues with. Telegram for me has worked pretty good. And yeah, I think honestly, Facebook Messenger. Like a lot of my Android friends will message me on Facebook Messenger, and that's hate to say it, but it seems to be like one of the better options. So,
If
all
Facebook Messenger didn't require a Facebook account, that'd be making it even one next level, like one
yeah.
level even better.
And I do see a lot of my friends are joining Telegram, and I think WhatsApp. I mean, I don't think WhatsApp.
Honestly, WhatsApp is really good because it just uses your number, but on the same flip side of the coin, because it only uses your number and shows it to everyone, is the reason why I don't like using it at the same time. You get what I'm saying, Stetson?
Yeah, I hear you exactly. It's like a convenience, but also an annoyance at the same time.
Like if you
And
could hide the number or like show like
yeah,
something else in its place, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, WhatsApp, honestly, can we just you know what the best messaging app is? And you're gonna hate me for saying this. It's WeChat.
I think you're right though. I haven't used it. I haven't used it, but I think you're right.
Listen, WeChat is phenomenal. Not only is it a great messaging app, but it has a whole ecosystem surrounding it. Like basically, Facebook basically just copies a lot of the stuff that comes off of WeChat. I mean, they both copy each other, but like Facebook Marketplace, right?
Yep.
WeChat basically has that, but on steroids. Like you want a pizza, you order it through WeChat, and your local baker or your local pizza boy just comes down and delivers it for you, kind of like Uber style. Like it's all just baked into like WeChat's messaging thing. There's all kinds of different like third-party services you can get. I know because I have a couple of friends that I had in college or that live in China. Like WeChat's pretty awesome. It's basically like if iMessage and Facebook had a baby.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's censored to crap by the CCP and um there's obviously security problems, but if we just focus on the messaging platform itself, it's pretty awesome.
100% with you. Yeah, it's remarkable all the things you can do in WeChat. I think if I had to pick one right now, I would do Facebook Messenger. I think the style of the messaging app is really nice. Like that's my problem with Telegram and with Signal and with
Well,
honestly
WhatsApp
WhatsApp.
you can change the style on
Yeah, no, but
WhatsApp. I
you
mean,
like change the theme. It's not like I'm more interested in like the kinetics of the bubbles as like you're scrolling, like the different visual effects you have. Like
well,
iMessage just looks so nice.
obviously you like Facebook Messenger because it literally looks just like iMessage.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
But let's answer this poll, man. I feel like we beat this like a dead horse.
We did. The horse is dead. Actually, we beat a dead horse that was already buried in the ground. We had to resurrect it. So let's move on to this poll. Dennis, at the start of this podcast, you asked our wonderful viewers which of the following adds the most value to your wireless plan. And I want to make sure I was going to ask people to vote, but we got 174 votes, which is incredible. What are the results here, Dennis?
So we got 63% saying more priority data, so it won heads over tails. It won. The runner up to that was free streaming services at 16%, free international travel at 11%, and then more mobile hotspot data coming in at last place with 10%.
Wow.
Was those the results you were expecting, Stetson?
These were not the results I was expecting. I'm surprised by this. Were they what you were expecting, Dennis? What did you put is first, second, and third and fourth in your mind?
I knew priority data was going to be number one based off our audience because that impacts everything else you're going to do on your phone.
Yep.
After that, though, it was a toss-up for me between mobile hotspot data and streaming services coming in at number two. I honestly thought the hotspot data was going to be possibly number two. And the only reason for that is because when we did our best MVNO plans, like different prices for families and stuff, I remember mobile hotspot was pretty important. And whenever we talk about like Verizon MVNOs, people are like, I always want this unlimited hotspot on Visible. It's really important to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it might be number two. Streaming service was definitely number three, though, for me, if mobile hotspot would have been two. And then international travel I knew was going to be last because I know most Americans don't have passports, which means most Americans don't internationally travel, which means it doesn't add value for them.
Dennis, I think you're right. Yeah. So I was doing, more priority data at number one. I expected the streaming services to actually come a lot later. Like, I feel like our audience is really into the core plan features. So I would have done more priority data, then more hotspot data. I think that's a pretty instant value add if you're trying to do, you're traveling domestically here in the States, you're at an airport, you're in a hotel, the hotel's got crappy Wi-Fi, boom, you use hotspot. You want to do work at a coffee shop, boom, you got hotspot. You want to do anything like that, that's really nice. So I would have put hotspot as second. I probably would have put free international travel next and then the free streaming services, because I don't feel like the streaming service you can get extra. Like, that's always available. So I'm very, very interesting on that. But yeah, 16% of you put the streaming services as second. So it almost like the prepaid unlimited plan. Like, I still think, let me pull this up for you. I still think that Total by Verizon's plans are not great. Like, you can literally get the $45 Visible Plus plan, way better plan, and spend the $15 extra for not only Disney Plus, but Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, and come in at like probably $60 a month. So I think it's still a little bit questionable, but it makes these plans seem a little bit less bad, I would say. And yeah, I think Eduardo mentioned it perfectly earlier in the chat. They're like, Total by Verizon and Visible Plus are for completely different audiences.
Hey, Stetson, fun fact, by the way, for you.
Yeah.
I have recently just learned that with these polls, there is a character limit. So I'm having to retype the second poll we wanted to have up. So if it looks a little weird, sorry, folks. But it's the same question as before, this time with slightly different answers. If you guys can vote on that too, we're going to talk about that here in a sec.
Perfect. So yeah, which of the following has the most value to your plan? We got another round here. We're doing taxes and fees included, a home internet discount. This is going to be like Xfinity Mobile, where they bundle in a $30 internet discount with that plan. This is going to be Verizon doing 50% off home internet, which is like $35 if you get the Plus plan. And your Magenta Max now, they're doing, I think, 50% off home internet as well. Then we've got a loyalty program. What are the options there, Dennis?
Like T-Mobile Thanks is an example, Xfinity Rewards, AT&T's, whatever they call it. Basically where they give you like, actually, unironically enough, Xfinity actually gave early access to the Modern Warfare 2 beta. I was seeing it on Reddit as part of the rewards program. Or they might give you like, they might give you like tickets, or maybe it's free socks from T-Mobile or the T-Mobile hat, or there's lots of different stuff. That may or may not happen as I get told to re-verify my sign-in on the Google Docs that I was watching. But yeah, it's like T-Mobile Thanks, T-Mobile Thanks, T-Mobile Tuesdays.
Would you consider T-Mobile Tuesdays as like an option, or?
Yeah, T-Mobile Tuesdays. T-Mobile cool. Tuesdays is a loyalty program, right? That's kind of what it is.
Yep. And then we got in-store person, in-store support. So basically being able to go to a physical store. So let's see what some people are saying here. Dave actually has a really interesting comment. I would love to know the percent of, and Joe just subscribed. Thank you very much, Joe. I would love to see the percent of people, let's see, the percent of people who actually have hotspot on their plan that actually use it. Bet it's under like 20%. Yeah, I feel like hotspot's one of those things that's there and it's nice to have when you need it, but most of the time you don't need it.
You know what I'd like to say? I'd like to thank Deep Dolly Wall, who came in with a $2 super chat saying, "Hey y'all."
Hey y'all. Hey, Pradeep, thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it. There should have been a banner that appeared, but I didn't see a banner. So
You're the only
obviously,
one that can see them, so
I didn't see a banner. I mean, oh, there it is. Thank you so much. I like the hey y'all is super tiny up there, but we really appreciate the support. Um, what else we got in the comments? Glenn agrees, streaming higher than we thought. Kyle is saying my tiers priority data, international data streaming services, hotspot, putting hotspot last. And T-Mobile Tuesdays. I don't think anyone is signing up for that. Dave, I agree. Dennis, have you used any of the T-Mobile Tuesday perks? Really?
oh
Haven't
yeah,
used
dude, how
any
do you think I got
recently?
all my recently? But how do you think I got my T-Mobile beanie that I got from like forever ago? Not the new one, but like the old one
Yeah,
that I wore. And like I got the T-Mobile socks, I got the magenta shirt, got the magenta thong. Yeah.
got
Got it. I
everything.
got dude,
Yeah.
I think I even have why do I think that they gave out goggles? I think I have that. I have a T-Mobile lunch bag downstairs. T-Mobile lunch bag. Oh, the T-Mobile bento box. They gave out bento boxes. That was a thing. T-Mobile bento box. I have one of those. The T-Mobile. Oh, they had the blow up things that you put around like your neck when you're like trying to fall asleep on an airplane. It
Yeah.
was like a little blow up one. Yeah, no, I've gotten different stuff. T-Mobile scarf. I've
Wow.
gotten T-Mobile gloves. Yeah, no, I've used a couple of them before, but jokes aside, no, I haven't used it really recently. And if T-Mobile said I could just get a flat $10 off a month to get rid of that, I'd be
Oh,
fine.
that'd be so nice. So I've been subscribed for T-Mobile. I'm on Base Essentials, which still gets it. I've used exactly zero T-Mobile Tuesday perks. Like I don't even check, don't even look. Like it's usually wow, Dennis, you're ripping Team AT&T. Where's that
Yeah,
coming in?
I'm such a carrier lover that I actually go out and spend my own money on the merch.
I have to say that is a clean looking shirt, Dennis. Looks
It
very
really
nice.
is. It really is.
Um, yeah. Oh, Kyle is saying $7.88 taxes and fees per month on Xfinity Mobile. So it looks like make sure you cast your vote on this current poll. What adds value to your wireless plan? And thank you, Dex, for just for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Taxes and fees, home internet discount, loyalty program, in-store person support.
So
Without
for
looking,
clarification,
yeah.
Kyle's is for 3 lines. So if you did the math, that'd be like $2 or
Oh, per
something.
line. That's not too bad. I'm
Yeah.
$5. I'm over $5. I'm $6 and like 50 cents for my T-Mobile.
Oh, we
So
got another subscriber.
yeah. Oh, Dennis, you're so behind. We gotta fix this, man. I don't know the solution, but we'll figure something
The
out.
solution is that when we do the extra content, we use our old school friend, the guy with a duck called StreamYard. For now.
I love it. I love it. Um, all right. Oh, Backbeat 3 just subscribed. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Hey,
Dennis, what's
while we're waiting, by the way, for poll results to come in, why don't you tell people what's going to be happening after this show? I'd like them to hear what's kind of cooking, what you've cooked up.
Yeah, so we're actually right after this show, probably in like maybe 5-ish minutes, we're going to be going live to Patreon supporters. We're doing a Patreon exclusive after show. The link has already been sent out and it's already in Patreon members inbox. I'll post it in the Discord so you can make sure you have it. And you also get to join the Discord community, which is pretty awesome if you choose to join the Patreon. So yeah, we'll be going live for 30 minutes. We'll be able to chit chat about whatever, about the new streaming setup, how it went, your thoughts on anything we covered today or anything else we didn't cover today. I've got some news about Visible Plus from my testing that I can update you all on. And there's a couple other topic ideas I have as well. But we got an exclusive Patreon stream after this. We're trying it out. Just doing a Patreon exclusive, going live for maybe 30 minutes or so for Patreon members so you can chit chat. But there you go.
Cool. Well, I feel like we've gotten 72 votes. There's 144 eyeballs. Math's not lining up here. Guys, there's a poll going on. Please get your votes in. And also, there's something else I noticed. The like button is looking lonely. Please smash that like button. Give it some love. Means a lot. It helps a lot. We do appreciate it.
It's
Any
paying the
comments
bills.
catching your eye? Any comments catching your eye, by the way, while we wait for more votes to come in?
Let's see. Amazon cards and Dunkin' credits are nice. Um,
MLB, yeah, that's a good perk. They do that every year. MLB, it's pretty nice.
25 cents off Shell gas was nice while it lasted.
Oh no, that one's garbage because Shell gas is always like 25 cents more expensive than everyone
So it
else
just
in the
made it
area.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
but um, okay, I'm
That's
gonna go
it.
ahead and just end the poll. It doesn't look like we're getting any more traffic in, so ending the poll
We'll
for the
round this
part
out.
round two. Oh, by the way, Zachary Dingo, thank you for the $1.23 super sticker, super
One, two, three.
chat.
We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Zachary. All right.
But
What are we
okay,
looking at?
so which of the following adds most value to your wireless plan? Part two. Taxes and fees included won by a landslide with 83% of the votes. Um, the home internet discount only got 6%. Uh, inside or in-store slash in-person support got 5% of the vote, and then loyalty programs like T-Mobile Tuesdays, AT&T Thanks, Xfinity Awards, etc. got 4%.
There you go.
Honestly, this sounds about right. However, I'm not gonna lie, Stetson. I was expecting this to be a lot higher for the home internet discount. I really thought people would have really enjoyed the Magenta Max T-Mobile home internet discount, the Verizon fixed wireless discount slash Fios discount, and the other discounts. Because I mean, like you said, $25 a month for home internet from T-Mobile or Verizon, respectively, when you got their Magenta Max or Get More, Do More plans, like that's really really good. And $30 is nothing to sniff at either. It basically is paying for your cell phone line.
I'm
Thought that would
I'm
be
with you,
higher.
Dennis. Yeah, I think home internet. I would have expected that to be a little bit higher. I think the number of people that are using or taking advantage of that is lower right now, which is I think why we see the percentage breakdown where it is. I would have expected for our audience, in-person store support seems to make sense because I know all of you are pretty tech savvy and maybe you don't need in-store support, but I think that could be a lot higher depending on the demographic. Like I was just recommending my grandfather get a new plan. He's interested in switching from Cricket to somewhere else. And he said T-Mobile's great where he lives. And so I was like, man, my favorite carrier is Mint Mobile, but he's eligible for that T-Mobile 55 plus discount. And so I was like, you know what? Just T-Mobile Essentials. It ends up being like $27 a line for 2 lines. And it would be great for him. And he can just go to a store and be like, help me switch. They would help him switch. They'd sell him the new phone and, he'd be good to go. So,
But Stetson, do you want to take us home?
yeah, let's round this show out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this epic live stream, the Best Film Plan podcast. Again, we're going live to Patreon members right after this. I want to take a special moment to thank some of our generous supporters for this stream. That's going to include Pradeep. That's going to include Zachary. I think those are the two that are showing up for me right now. So thank you extra amount for the generosity and the support, and yeah, for tuning in to this live stream. Zachary's sticker just showed up on my screen. So I think that's going to be it. Thank you all so much. Let me know what you think in the comments after the show of the new StreamYard, or excuse me, the OBS setup. And yeah, Dennis, anything you want to add?
I just want to say thank you for everyone, and I look forward to seeing a lot of familiar faces in the Patreon stream.
Love it.
Peace.
Peace.